For millions of years, Earth was a wild and violent world, still taking shape. But there was a time in history when the sky refused to rest. A period so extreme that the oceans were born from a single storm. Over 4 billion years ago, our planet was young. The ground burned beneath oceans of lava, volcanoes erupted endlessly, and the air was so thick that not a single drop of water could survive. But then, everything began to change. The planet cooled down. The vapor trapped in the atmosphere, the breath of thousands of eruptions, began to form clouds, and those clouds started to cry. At first, it was a gentle rain, then an endless storm, and soon, a deluge that lasted for more than 2 million consecutive years. Imagine a sky forever gray, thunder that never stopped, lightning striking molten rock, creating oceans of steam and rivers of fire. Each drop that fell was a battle between water and stone. And slowly, water won. Thus, the oceans were born. The steam condensed, the craters filled, and the first seas began to cover the earth. The sound of rain became the heartbeat of the planet, a symphony of life that did not yet exist, but was about to awaken. For 2 million years, the sky unleashed all its fury, but in doing so, it gave birth to everything we know. Water formed oceans. Oceans created chemistry, and chemistry gave rise to life itself. Without that eternal storm, life would never have begun. The same rain that could have destroyed a planet became the very force that shaped it into a home. When you look at the sea, remember this. Every wave that touches the shore is a remnant of that infinite rain. Every drop that falls from the sky carries the echo of the days when the world cried to come alive. 2 million years of rain, 2 million years of chaos, 2 million years that turned a hell of fire into a blue paradise. For millions of years, Earth was a laboratory of unimaginable forces. The sky, heavy with vapor, darkened under clouds so dense that sunlight barely touched the ground. Rain fell as burning droplets, striking a still molten surface. Each drop that touched the ground evaporated instantly, rising again as vapor to feed the endless storm. It was a cycle without end, a planet trapped between fire and water. As time passed, the Earth's crust slowly began to cool. The seas of lava hardened into rock, and the steam could no longer escape so easily. For the first time, water stayed. Small pools appeared, then temporary lakes, and finally vast basins. Meteorites and asteroids had left enormous craters across the surface, and one by one, they filled with the never-ending rain. The first oceans were born. The sky still roared with thunder, lightning still tore through the heavens, but now the water endured. Temperatures dropped just enough for steam to condense permanently. The planet began to reflect sunlight, turning shades of blue. The Earth, once a hell of fire, became a world of water. In the depths of those early seas, something extraordinary began. Minerals released by volcanoes mixed with the oceans. Iron, sulfur, carbon, and nitrogen created a unique chemical soup. Every lightning strike injected energy, transforming simple molecules into complex chains. And through this chaos, chemistry became biology. The first cell did not appear in an instant. It was the result of millions of failed combinations, molecules forming and breaking apart endlessly. But the eternal rain kept energy and matter in motion. That endless storm became the cradle of the greatest experiment in the universe: life. As the ages passed, the storms began to fade. The skies turned blue again, the clouds softened, and the planet stabilized. Water covered nearly 3/4 of the surface, reflecting a sky that finally rested. At the ocean floor, the first microscopic organisms were already alive. Without that cycle of destruction and renewal, nothing we know today would exist. The process was neither smooth nor fast. Continents rose and sank, volcanoes darkened the sky once more, and the rains returned in waves. But the transformation was irreversible. Water had become the planet's essence, its eternal memory. Every storm that falls today is an echo of that first planetary cry. Now, when we look at the sea, or listen to rain falling on the ground, we are witnessing the same force that gave birth to us. The water still flows in its ancient rhythm from ocean to sky, from sky to land, and back again. That movement is the breath of Earth. Those 2 million years of rain were not merely a flood, they were a baptism. The Earth washed itself clean of fire, chaos, and emptiness. It prepared to host life, to become the only known place in the universe, where matter learned to think, to feel, to remember. Every raindrop that falls today is a direct descendant of that first storm. It carries the same atoms, the same hydrogen forged in the hearts of dead stars. The water we drink, the water within our cells, once fell upon a lifeless earth. We are, in essence, the children of a rain that never wished to stop. And though the deluge ended long ago, its memory lives on in ancient rocks, in the depths of the oceans, in every cloud across the sky. The earth remembers, and each time thunder rolls and rain lashes the ground, the planet recalls the age when the heavens wept and life began. ¿Quieres que continúe el guión con una reflexión final poética o filosófica tipo cierre cinematográfico para voz en off? Puedo hacerlo sin repetir nada y con tono profundo o inspirador. For millions of years, that endless rain did more than shape the earth, it shaped destiny itself. Water was not merely a substance. It was the planet's first memory, its first emotion. Each drop fell with the weight of inevitability, carrying a single truth: that even chaos can give birth to balance, and from fire can come serenity. When the final thunder faded, the earth was no longer the same. It had learned to breathe. Its newborn mountains, still steaming, gazed upon horizons filled with newborn seas. The sky, once a storm without end, finally reflected sunlight upon the waters, and the first blue dawn broke over a world reborn. Then the miracle began. In that vast nameless ocean drifted the first molecules capable of replication. Tiny, fragile and silent, yet within them pulsed the memory of the storm that had forged them. And though they did not know it, they would one day reshape the planet itself. The rain had ceased, but its work had only just begun. The water, now calm, became a mirror in which the heavens could see themselves. Currents began to flow, minerals mingled, temperatures stabilized. The planet was preparing for its next act, conscious life. Billions of years later, every living being that breathes, every tree that grows, every wave that reaches the shore, carries a fragment of that ancient storm. We are children of that rain, heirs to a deluge that refused to stop. Within our bodies, in our blood, in every tear we shed, lie the same molecules that once struck a molten earth, when silence did not yet exist. That is the most beautiful paradox of all existence, that the same fury which threatened to erase the world was the one that made it possible. That the greatest destruction was, in truth, the first act of creation. And so, every time the clouds gather and the rain begins to fall, the earth remembers. It remembers its origins, its fire, its tears, and its rebirth. It reminds us that all change begins in chaos, that every calm follows a storm, and that even in the darkest silence, life waits to be born. The story of that eternal rain is not just the story of a planet. It is the story of us all. Because life, yours, mine, every living being's, began the day the sky wept for the first time. And as long as water keeps falling upon the earth, the universe will keep whispering its oldest message. Nothing ever truly dies, and everything that falls will rise again.